Welcome back, y'all. We are on to another project on the project golf cart. This one here involves the motor. On this cart, we have a D&D high-speed motor that we need to change the brushes in. We believe it's the brushes anyway. What we're having is like when you give it throttle going forward, you're getting a little bit of surge, especially at the lower speeds. And also we get that little whirly noise from the engine. So only in forward, not in reverse. So we reached out to D&D, got the part number we needed, and we ordered these brushes. Now, when you order from D&D for the brushes, they got a minimum order, I think it was like $40 or something like that. So you can easily get two brushes like $32 or something. So I just ended up ordering 3 brushes so I didn't lose that extra little value. Got a backup set of brushes. You can do it however you like. They do have most of the stuff you need if you just call them up and tell them what you got. They can give you, if you have a D&D motor. These might work in something else. I'm not 100% sure, but we got what we need here. We hope we don't need the brush holder. I think ours will be all right. As long as they're not frozen up in there, we should be okay. We'll find out that soon. But the first thing we got to do when we're trying to do this, our cart's lifted, so it's a little easier for us to get to the motor. We're going to be able to lay under the back and get to everything we need right there. We want to make sure we're going to label our cables so we know what lug they came off from on the motor. But the very first thing you want to do is shut the power off at your battery. We have a lithium conversion on this, so we got a button on the side of our battery to kill all power. We're going to do that. That way our cables down here are not juiced up. If you have lead acid, just take your one from one end, one from the other end. Take those off. That way you have no power down to there. And then you can commence to tearing it out. So first thing you want to do, cut the power off, mark your cables, and then take those off. And then there's a couple bolts to take the motor off. We'll show you that when we get down there. Like I said, ours is a little easier. If yours isn't jacked up, you're going to have to take like your cover off that back port area so you can see the motor. You'll have access to it. But we're going to be able to get ours from underneath. So that being said, let me get you down here and show you what we're dealing with on the bottom end as far as the motor is concerned and what we got to disconnect. All right, this is our battery. This is that one we did on videos to Cloud Energy when we converted this cart. We did a video on converting this completely, bypassing OBC and everything. If you want to see that, check the link out down below. But on this battery, there is an on-off switch. We're just going to turn it off. So that kills all power out of these lugs. So now there's no power going to the cart. And we can get underneath and get the cables off without worrying about welding or anything. So let's go. All right, guys, we are under here where our motor's at. You can see we have more access to ours being jacked up. You're going to want to label your cables, what they are. The ours happen to be labeled, which is nice for us, but you can see A1 and F1. Then there's A2 and F2 on the back, 2 cables that go in the back. They'll correlate to each one of these lugs right here. They're probably marked on the motor. Let's see if I can get you guys a shot up there. They should be marked where they go. So we're just going to disconnect those. Once those are disconnected, pretty much it's only connected to the rear end by these bolts here. There's a couple here, a couple on the other side. We take those out and then we can pull the motor right out. And then we can get this on the bench and I'll show you what the next step is. But that's what we're going to do right now. Since ours are already labeled, make sure you label yours. We're just going to disconnect them. And then we're going to take these bolts out here. Get you guys a better shot here. And on the other side, and then we can pull that motor right out. It's just going to pull literally right out of the rear end here. It's just going to pull out this way. And then that end of that motor will be open. There's no cap or nothing because it rides in the top part of here for balance. So we're going to get that out, get this on the bench, and we'll move on to the next step. All right, we got somebody under there getting them wires off. He's the young guy. We have him doing it. Another thing to get used to habit-wise is taking a picture of, especially when it comes to wiring or anything like that, of the area. That way you can reference your picture also. Luckily, we record everything on video most of the time, so we can reference that as well. But he's going to get them wires off, then we're going to pull that motor right off. So keep that in mind. If you're doing this, take a picture of it. Help you out in the long run. All right, we got this monster out. Be careful when you're pulling out. It is kind of heavy. If you can have some help, that's nice. One thing you're going to have to unplug on there, we forgot to mention, was the speed sensor. That's on the end here. You can see the one end is opened up. That's the end that goes in the rear end of the cart. And then we're going to have to take the speed sensor off. And we're also going to have to take this back cap off because that's where our brushes are at. You could tell by these, the brushes are connected to those. As you see in here, you see the lugs on those. So that's what we're going to need to take out, switch out, and get them all where we need them to be. So that's what we're going to do now is take this off. It comes off with a couple Phillips, it looks like, I think. Kind of tiny.
No, that's a star.
Is that a star?
That's a star.
Well, Okay, well, star bits. All right, guys, we got our speed sensor off. It just took those two star bits on ours. Yours could be something else. We couldn't find a small star bit. We just used a Phillips small one. Now we got to take these out. There only appears to be two of them. There's empty holes, but there's no holes for them. So we're taking these two out. They are 3/8. We're going to take them out with our impact here on each end, crisscross from each other. This should allow our motor to come apart here. Boom. Okay, when you're in here, you can blow this all out, get any carbon you might have that's built up in there. We're going to set that over here. This in here. Set this up. We can pull this out. Well, what we want to do first, if you look in here, each one of these brushes have a spring that keeps pressure in onto this armature or to this motor. We're going to lift those springs off so we have no pressure on the brushes. So that's all we're going to do is we're going to lift them up off there like that. As you've seen, we just lifted it off. It's now the pressure's off of the brush. We're going to do that on all of them, all the way around. We're just lifting up a little like that on each one, just to bring it up off of the brush. All right, like I said, we got those springs lifted up on here to get them out of the way. Then on the back side, you're going to want to pull. There's a thing in the end. We just pulled it. You might have to, you might not have to. I just pulled it. We're going to loosen these because this also is what holds those brushes in. So we're going to take those out. Your cart might be different on like what motor you have or what size cart you have. This is a 48-volt cart. You'll probably be reusing these pieces here, so don't lose those. It's got like that isolator bushing and everything. You're going to want that. So now these are ready to pop out of there. And we did buy the brushes right from D&D out of Syracuse, New York. They're the ones who make this motor. So we got those loose now. All right, guys, we got our springs. We got ahead of ourselves. We got our springs up here. Last we spoke to you guys. And then what you do is you just pull this out. This sits in here like this. You're going to pull it out. If yours doesn't come out that easy, from the back side, you're going to want to get like a socket or something, because ours came out a little hard, just to, you know, coax it out a little bit, and then it'll drop. We just put it between two cinder blocks, let it hang there, and banged it down until it came out. So we're good there. To be honest with you, our brushes look pretty good. I mean, we're going to change them because we got them, because we do have that squeak and that little shutter, but we're going to change the brushes just because we're in here. Why not, right? It's a T20 Torx to take this brush ring out. You're just going to loosen all 4 of those bolts in here. There's 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then this ring's going to come out. And you have to take the nuts and isolators off of here. So those will come out with it. So that's what we're going to go around. Just take the 4 of these out. And then we can pull this ring up and out. All right, we got our 4 bolts out. This will just allow this ring to lift up. But remember, these are going to hold you back a little. So pull those back. And you can lift your ring right out. We'll set this to the side just for visual purposes. Not enough bench space. Now pay attention to how your brushes come out, because they're going to be across from one another. See, I put 1s on each one. 1, 1, 2, 2. Because on your brush, you got a short cable and a long cable. So like for instance, on this one where I got it labeled 1, it's going to be, one of them's going to go here and the other one's going to come over here and do this. That's what that's going to be. So that's all we're going to do. We're just going to pull these out. They're going to come out easy now since we have them springs off. See how we just did that? Now we're going to put these ones in the same spots. That's it. We're going to do that with the other one. The bolts are already where it needs to go. We're going to do that with number 2s over here. Just the same thing. Leave it sitting right there. We'll grab another one. We got the long one's going to come all the way over to this side. And then the short one's going to come over here to this side. And remember, when your brush, the cable you'll see on here will be at the bottom of the brush when you put it on. So there we go. We got all our new brushes in. So it's not really hard changing your brushes. It's just hard getting everything apart. Harder. So there we go. We're going to set this back into our bottom of our case. And you'll see where your bolts are going to naturally go. That's where we're going to set it. Just to set it back in here, line up your bolt holes. Right there. Okay. Yep, there we go. And then we'll just put these bolts through the holes, back through on each side. There we go. We'll push these back down out of the way. So they're in there now. So now all we got to do is put our screws back in to hold this ring in here and put our nuts and isolators on the outside. So pretty much the reverse of what you did to get it out. That's what we're going to do right now. All right, we got our ring back down there and secured down. Our brushes or our springs are still here, so our brushes are back, so we can set our motor in. That's what we're going to do. Set this in. All right, we're going to get this put back down in here. We're going to try to go as straight as we can in between the brushes. Now ours is going to fit a little hard, so we're going to have to bang it in when we get there. But what we're going to do is we're going to put our springs back for our brushes. There you go. So it's holding them in for us. Careful with those. There you go. You're going to just do that all the way around. Oh, that one's got caught on the cable. We don't want that. Let's bring that one up. Get the cable down out the way. All right. Okay, that one's in place. One more. We have those in there. Now for us, we're going to bang this down into place to get our thing seated. And then we're going to put our things back on here. Get our isolator bushing. We're just going to sit on here like this with our washer and our nut. Just get those close and then we'll bang that down in. So it's pretty much the reverse of what you did. That's what we're doing now. All right, we got our part down in there. We just put a piece of wood on top and hit it, and it went down in. It's a tight fit in that bearing. I've seen some on videos where they just come right out. That's not ours. Anyway, we're tightening up these connections on the side. Now we're going to wipe this out a little bit. It's not that bad in there, but we're going to wipe out some of the carbon, get that cleaned out. Then on this end, we're going to put our cap back on, or this is not cap, but it's the reader for the speed sensor. We're going to put that back in. Then we'll be done and we can put it back in the case, screw it together, get it back in the cart. So kind of reverse of what you did, but doing the brushes, not that bad. All right, guys, this is what it looks like on the rear end side of it where the motor goes. You can see the shaft. If your shaft is a little rusty there, you can wire brush it off, clean it out. We already blew some out because it was really black in there, and use some brake clean to clean it. And then we're just going to brush off the end of that shaft, and then we put a little never sees, food grade never sees into our motor end, so it'll slide on here a little easier than it came off. Then we can bolt it back in there, and that's it. Hook the wires back up, speed sensor, we're ready to go. All right, guys, we got our motor slided back up on here, and it went on a lot easier now we cleaned that shaft off. Now we just got to finish tightening our bolts. Remember, each one of your bolts needs a lock washer, and we had one that didn't have one, so we got that. We got to hook our speed sensor back up right here, and then we got to take our cables and put them back on our lugs, and we marked them so we know F1 goes to F1, which is marked on the motor. So that's all we have to do to reverse this. And we're pretty much done with the job. We're just going to test it out. And hopefully that did what we needed to do. But that's how you change the brushes on a golf cart motor, 48 volt, 36 volt. They're going to be about the same. This is a D&D, like I said, high-speed motor, but they're relatively the same anytime you change the brushes. A couple things may vary, but they're going to go this way for the most part. So hope you guys found this video helpful or informative. If you have, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, let everyone know you're liking our videos. Until next time, guys, thanks for watching. Try something new. Whoa, not so fast. Future me here, forgetting that I forgot to tell you guys if what we did worked. It did work for us, even though our motor didn't look like it had a lot of carbon buildup and our brushes didn't look bad, but it did take care of our problem. We had that little stutter with the start and go, and we had that whirly noise, but that did fix it. So when you're in there, you might as well do it anyway, and it fixed our problem. So hope that helped you.